All right, let's go over the news and nuggets from the Vikings OTA practice today. Welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus show. I am Lupagus, and the Vikings held I guess it's their second OTA, the one that open to media. They're in this phase 3 part of their offseason program. Players are there in shorts and shoulder pads and helmets, or just helmets and shorts, having 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. We're going to tell you the news and nuggets to take away from the practice today. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, and comment as well. Don't forget to become a YouTube member for exclusive content and just to support the channel, just to support old Onebar and Lupagus. All right, let's talk about the Vikings news and nuggets and notes from the OTA practice. First of all, let's talk about who didn't show up, who was not in attendance. These are voluntary workouts. Players are not required to be there, but Justin Jefferson was not there. Delvin Cook, Daniel Hunter, Jordan Hicks, Harrison Smith, and Ross Blacklock says, I don't need no practice. I'm Ross freaking Blacklock. Yeah, Ross, you're gonna be used to not being around because you're gonna get your ass cut. Anyway, only other one here. I mean, Delvin Cook, he's gonna probably be cut here in a week, in a few days. Daniel Hunter is the only one that I think is any bit concerning. Again, he didn't show up before. Apparently, is not super happy with his contract situation. We'll see what happens there. I feel like I'm the only one who's even remotely concerned. I'm not that concerned at this point, but I am a little bit. It's on my radar as far as Daniel Hunter and where this thing may go. Limited. Jordan Anderson was limited. Harrison Phillips was limited, and Byron Murphy was also limited today. Again, before we go any further, I just took most of this from Vikings.com, and some I think was from Sam Ekstrom on Twitter. So I'm not pretending like I was in attendance watching this thing, because Onebar and Lupagus do not attend practices, at least not yet. So limited was Addison Phillips, Byron Murphy, not active, Brian O'Neill, Dwayne McBride, who I don't believe has signed his contract yet, and Blake Prohl. Again, Blake Prohl never seems to practice, but always seems to hang around. So there were some players who stepped in for these players, the starters who were gone, and you can, I guess you can read into this what you will, but it does give you a little bit of insight on how the depth chart currently looks, because Jalen Naylor stepped in for Jefferson/Addison at wide receiver. Steen was in for Harrison Smith. Karice Tonga was in for Harrison Phillips when he was taking a break. Oli Udoh was in for Brian O'Neill, and DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones were in for Daniel Hunter, and Troy Reeder was in for Jordan Hicks, not William Quinku, not Troy Dye. It was Troy frickin' Reeder. So no real surprises there. I mean, Tonga for Phillips, I'm really curious how that's going to shake out. Is Phillips going to be the nose, Tonga going to be the backup, or are they going to put Tonga at nose and have Phillips outside at end? Or is it not going to matter because Brian Flores will do so much rotating with these players? We will find out. Let's go into some actual notes. There's like 3 takeaways here. Lewis Cine had no limitations at all. He worked with the first team with Bynum, was on the field when they had a 3 safety look. Apparently, he looked great, showed no signs of that broken leg. So Lewis Cine appears to be a full go. So that is great to see. Really need him to step up and have a role this year as a second-year player. When you talk about this defense today, even though it was, helmets and shorts, intensity was the word used over and over again everywhere you looked. Talking about the Vikings defense today, intensity was the word of the day. Apparently, lots of communication before snap, urgency, and changing alignments. And Brian Flores even heard giving a bit of a tongue lashing after a corner allowed a reception. So he's coaching the way he does. He coaches intense, he coaches loud, he coaches aggressively, and I love that. Let's get after this defense. Let's make them accountable. Let's get them fired up. Let's have that intensity, because it just wasn't there last year. So Brian Flores, I mean, if we go down, we have some hiccups. At least we're going to do it being very, very aggressive, which is what I want to see. Even the offense was complimenting the defense, saying how intense everything was on that side of the ball. So you love hearing that. Brian Flores already making a mark, already doing his job. And the last thing, the last takeaway, last news, the last nugget is Josh Oliver. Catch of the day, according to Vikings.com, was Josh Oliver. Big gain on a seam route. So, he always talked about having good hands in college, was used as a blocker in Baltimore. Maybe he's going to have a bigger role in this passing game than a lot of us initially believed. Josh Oliver having the catch of the day. So those are your basic news and nuggets, the highlights from the OTA. I guess that's the actual second of the offseason, and this was the first one open to the media. So kind of a big day in Vikings world. It's nice to hear some actual practice, some actual on the field stuff coming from our beloved Purple after, having about a 4-month hiatus here. So let me know what you think of the news and nuggets from the OTA today. Anything we can take away from this, or is it all just, they're putting out there, whoever's there, whoever shows up? Let me know in the comments. And also remember, keep your skull in your hole.